Greetings, students. Welcome back. Wanted to thank you for coming to another lecture here on teaching English language learners about the language arts. Today we're going to focus on writing. One element that we want to talk about today is topic types. We'll talk a little about what it is and how it can be useful in reading and writing. Topic types, as far as I have seen, I've not seen it except inside our textbook, or the book that I'm using here, which is this one here. So if you have this book, Teaching Reading and Writing to ESL Learners, it's the one you want to have by nation. Topic types is the first time I've ever heard it was in this textbook. I would generally call this a writing style or one of the modes for teaching, but I do like the way this is set up in here. So let's talk a little bit about what a topic type is. Topic type is a kind of style for writing. So, for example, if you're going to be talking about making a cookbook, not making a cookbook, if you're going to be talking about making a recipe has a kind of style. You know, if you're doing something that's a how-to type of thing, maybe it's not making cookies, but you're talking about how to plug in a lamp, or how to turn on a computer, or how to put in memory in a computer, or how to ride a bike, whatever it is. It's kind of a how-to. That's a style of writing. And that type or that style of writing is going to be useful for language learners, especially if they're going to be dealing with nonfiction. Okay, they're talking about probably in the school system or the college system where they're going to be dealing with nonfiction and they're going to be taking notes. This style is going to be pretty beneficial to them. It's going to help them gather information more quickly and more easily. Now, it does require an upper level ability in English. So it's going to require an intermediate level in English proficiency or better. And of course, most of this is geared toward the academic setting. So that's a little caveat for using this idea of a topic type. But it is definitely beneficial. A topic type uses a text that focuses on a different type of topic or style of writing. But the style is the same. It contains the same type of general information. So, for example, again, if you're dealing with a how-to, you're going to have maybe a summary at the beginning. You're going to have a list of materials that you'll need, procedures that you want to go through, and that's the way the writing is set up. Okay. So a topic type is a topic that includes standard information. It's an important word, standard information. Not everything is going to be standard that you read and or write. So this type of system, this topic types, is only going to be useful if the material you're doing is a standard format. Things that aren't standard format, it's going to be less useful to them. Nation listed a number of types of topic types. He listed them as characteristics. If you're describing maybe a descriptive type of paper or a lecture where you're describing the elements of something. You could be talking about the physical structure of something, again, where you're describing the physical elements in a particular item or idea. Going on here, instruction, again, which is kind of like the how-tos. So, again, all the ideas that I talked about earlier as far as providing instructions to do something, the how-tos would fit under that one. Maybe it's a process, and you're reading and or writing or hearing a lecture on some process that was involved, be it a legislative process, or how a bill gets made, or the process involved in steering a car, or some other process that's involved. There are steps and elements and questions and pieces that you can look for when you're reading or when you're taking notes. Maybe it's about a state or a situation. The condition of some element, be it the condition of a government or the condition of a volcano, a condition of somebody who's ill, and you can describe those particular elements, and then it's going to be easier to take notes because you know what segments that you're looking for. Maybe it's a principle. Maybe it's a theory, and it's a theory that includes a hypothesis, or maybe it's a principle that has several subsections to it. Or maybe it's a principle, and here are how you apply the principle, the ways to apply the principle. And all these different parts that you can have within these topic types are going to help students plug in the information into that form. into that format. And that's really what these topic types are. It's a format for students to take whatever information that's being done and stick it into the form so that it can be more quickly understood and processed. And that's the main thing for these topic types. Let's move on here. In reading and writing, how do we use them? Well, in writing, students need to know the type, and they need to know the initial information that's in that type in order to plug in the information. So again, if it's an instructional type of thing, where they're learning about how to do something, well, they're going to need to know what are the elements involved in an instructional type and how do they plug it in. So they need to know what the types are, and they need to be able to take the information and plug it into that type. That's going to be their primary benefit for them. Again, if they know the type of lecture they're listening to or book they're reading or thing that they have to write, if they know the type of that they're going to use, it's going to be easy to plug that stuff in. The opposite is going to be true for reading. If they're reading something and they know it's instructional, or they know it's a hypothesis, they're going to already be able to know what that structure is, and now they can predict what this section is about. They can predict that it's going to be part of the explanation of the hypothesis or the history of it or the logic of it, or whatever parts that you're going to have within that particular type. You'll be able to predict the elements of the text. You'll be able to take notes from that text because they'll be able to identify, okay, this is this part. This part goes into this section of the form type of thing. They're going to be able to evaluate the text. Does it have all these standard parts or doesn't it? So that's going to be a benefit to students as well. Again, this is primarily working for kids who are in more of an academic setting, and this only works rather well if it's standard writing forms. Writing forms that deviate from standard, the more it deviates, the less reliable it's going to be. Additionally, some texts can have multiple topic types. It could be an instructional that also has a hypothesis within it, and so we've mixed the types a little bit. I don't know that that's a problem. Again, provided that they understand the form, they should be able to start plugging things in. This whole idea of topic types is primarily to help students grapple with, manage, organize all the information that they're going to be getting from their texts and from lectures. So there are definitely benefits to having this kind of a structure in place. And that's all I have for this chapter. Again, if you do have any questions or problems, please let me know, and we'll